Happy Black History Month and welcome to Different Roots Radio, where we discuss topics around lifestyle, business, and social issues. We speak with entrepreneurs and dream chasers from different backgrounds each week. So like, subscribe, and share to get fresh content on the regular. You are listening to Damien Tamain. Now that we got all that out the way, DJ, you know what time it is. Cue the intro. Thank you for joining us today on Different Roots Radio. Today we have a special guest. It is Eric Duechle. He is coming from Seattle currently, and he's an Air Force combat vet, a former Air Force combat vet, professional Major League Rugby player. He plays for the Seattle Seawolves, and he's also very, very passionate about Seattle Compassion Services. See what I did there? So thanks for joining us today, Eric. Please do tell us, first question, you're a rugby player in America. How are you not playing basketball or American football? How did you end up playing rugby?
Yeah, it's a good question. And thanks for having me on your show. You know, with football and basketball, you don't make it early, like in high school or in college. It's really hard to make it professionally. And I just moved around all my life. I was kind of a late bloomer when it came to sports. And it wasn't until my junior, senior year that I really started playing football. So I really excelled at rugby when I was playing both sports, and I just went that track.
Oh, cool. I played a little bit of rugby in school. As you can see, Dami definitely probably played American football or rugby in school. Yeah, I'm definitely I'm a basketball player with the model physique, as you can see. But I played winger, so we didn't get as much contact as you guys. But I've got a question. Are rugby players still as crazy in America as they are in England? Because when I was in university, we had basketball initiation, and we had to go and do 10 shots of tequila or something in the bar. The rugby players...
In high school?
In university in Durham.
Okay.
When I was my last university, undergrad. And the basketball players just did loads of shots. The rugby players got a frozen turkey and played rugby in the snow, butt naked, to as their initiation. And then they all drank a mixture of beer and tequila out of a rugby boot. So do you guys have any crazy traditions like that, or is it just an English thing?
No, we do the same thing.
You're ridiculous.
You do the same thing with the frozen turkey as well.
Yeah, have you heard of the Zulu?
No.
Zulu.
So
gone.
When you score your first try as a player, you have to strip down naked and run around the field, and then they'll hand you a boot to chug. So that's kind of a rookie initiation that we do.
You have to do the Zulu Warrior Challenge. Was this during a professional game, or is this in university?
Yeah, no, professional, we've really tried to change that image. That was more college level that you'll see that, or club level. Last time I've seen anyone do it, though, we were down in Texas, and a Mexican team had come up across the border. And what you can do, there's ways to do that legally. And yeah, I saw them do the Zulu. It was in 2019. I couldn't believe people were still doing it.
Yeah. Sounds like an odd tradition to have, but I guess traditions are traditions. You can't run away from it. Zulu and all, naked and all.
Did you play rugby, Dami?
Oh man, I played rugby back in year 7 and year 8. And I was the biggest guy on the team, which is, of course, having wonderful genetics that I do. I was just a guy that anytime other schools came with small guys, they just passed me the ball and I would just plow through them. It's quite nice, So, but sadly, that was year 7, year 8, that eventually people started growing up and started hitting puberty. And I wasn't no longer the biggest guy on the team, but just an average player. So
you had your years. You had your little window.
Yeah. So when I was a small little lad and I weighed just about the same size as Tamain.
Oh, you got jokes. I'll see you on the basketball court.
No worries.
It's true. It's true.
I'm very curious to know a little bit about like, your life outside of rugby too. Um, I know that as it is right now, you're still active in playing rugby. What is it you like to do in your spare time?
Outside of Seattle Compassion,
Yeah.
um, so I transitioned careers from the Air Force to
Mm-hmm.
professional rugby, and now I'm 34, so I'm very much trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. And
Mm.
he is like, we have to do so much reading, and I'm not an MBA guy. I'm just a guy that did university. Um, so I'm trying to like change my life right now and just switch gears and learn maybe what you guys learned in school. So I just take that next level of my life. So, when we're 40, we're living a good life and we don't have to do the same work. So
Exactly.
I focused, on that. Still go on dates, and the coronavirus.
All right.
Still trying to
Peace.
live a happy life, hiking and stuff, but I'm very much in that business mode right now.
Good. And honestly, that's a good way to be, because I know like the average age of most athletes is, particularly ones playing rugby, they play from age 30 to 38, so they retire in the late 30s. And I know that you're coming up to that eventually, but it's good to at least plan your future and have something that you're able to rely on outside of rugby that you can then do. Most athletes generally go on to become coaches, or they become broadcast personalities. I'm not sure if that's something that you might consider doing yourself, but if you are looking to do businesses, I guess the best example we can ever look at is Shaq, right? Because Shaq is the guy that's got a lot of businesses going of his own, and he's big into franchises. So he owns like what, 155 Five Guy burger restaurants, 17 Auntie Anne's pretzels, 150 car washes, and freaking, of course, being the big guy he is, he's got fitness centers, like up to 40 of them, 24 hours fitness, and movie theaters. This guy does everything. So you just need to, start planting the money that you make now into something that you can then reap the benefits later. So I totally agree with, trying to have that entrepreneurship mindset, getting yourself involved in different businesses.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that advice. It's I think every rugby player or every professional athlete, you get to that point where you're not going to keep earning that same income, and it's like, how do I reinvent myself?
Mm.
I was this person, but that's just a calling, a temporary one. How do I get to that next calling?
Mm. Yeah, no, honestly, I totally agree with that. I guess the questions that one needs to ask themselves in these kind of scenarios is, what are my soft skills and what are my hard skills that I can then use, or my passions or my passions, and then try to use that towards growing myself and make myself marketable. And if you're able to market yourself and be an entrepreneur, honestly, be your own boss, that's something that we as a podcast, we're trying to interview entrepreneurs, and we see that potential in you. So when you make it big and all, give us a call again. We'll be happy to talk about your journey between making something of yourself now, and then when you are someone big and a mogul and the next Shaq, who knows? The Shaq of rugby.
Shaq, I think the most important thing Dami said was passion. When we were learning about, I did practical investing class, and you learn about all these investors like Warren Buffett, and essentially they always invest in things that they know about, and things that they're not just that they know about, that they're passionate about. So for me, I would invest in something to do with basketball, because I watch basketball videos all day. I play basketball. I read up about it. So things that excite you, like Rick Ross, no pun intended, but he likes chicken wings. So he invested in like a franchise of Wingstops, and he knows chicken wings. He likes chicken wings. And now he's making hundreds of thousands a year in all these franchises, because that's something he knew. And he's like, oh, I can invest in this, put my name to it, it fits my brand, and just leverage it. So, and if you're interested in it, it's not really work, is it? It's more of a, yeah, it's more fun.
I can see him critiquing the chicken recipe. Right.
He's like, these aren't good enough. Oh, throw them away.
You can't fight the boss, man. The boss is eating some chicken wings, man. He should know a thing or two.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations on being a 2-time champion, by the way. We didn't even mention that. You won. Was it back? Did you win back to back, like MJ?
Yeah.
Like MJ back to back? Was a second championship last season or the season before?
We won in 2018, 2019, and then this season got cut in half.
Did you have a championship this season, or did they just stop the season halfway through?
Yeah, they stopped it because of coronavirus. We had to stop our season, I think the day after the NBA did.
And then they're not gonna finish out the season. They're just gonna start a new season, or
yeah. So we're starting season 4, but we're still the reigning champs.
so you could have a three-peat technically, go back to back with Corona in the middle, but still a three-peat. Yeah.
It was perfect. So.
Oh, good luck! Congratulations. So was that the biggest? Was the first one or the second one more memorable for you?
You know, it's always the last one because you're only as good as the last thing you've done. So it was. It was really special. I mean, the first one was great because it had never been done before. It was the first professional championship in America. You get a lot of doubters, like, oh, you know, you guys get lucky. When you do it again the second time, they're like, okay, there might be a recipe or a formula, and how do we stop these guys?
Yeah, great.
Oh, you're an unbreakable force, man. Keep going, man. Keep going forward.
I like your team hashtag is let we hunt together or something.
And together we hunt.
Together we hunt. Ooh, I might use that as a motivational speech next time my basketball team are losing. Guys, we got 5 minutes. Together we hunt. We go get that W. Dammy, that's going to be against you probably.
Yeah, because I'll be winning. You're right.
Oh, you're so lucky we can't swear on this podcast. So you used to be an Air Force combat vet. So is that like the RAF? Is that not? What's it called in America?
United States Air Force, and then you guys are the Royal Air Force.
Yeah, we had RAF, Royal Air Force. How did you transition from that into rugby, and how old were you when you enlisted? Did you enlist? Yeah.
Commissioned.
So, okay.
Yeah. I went to a 4-year university. I went to the Air Force Academy, and I became an officer, a second lieutenant, back in 2008.
Yeah. How did you come out of it? Because, you know, we understand that a lot of people do get enlisted or commissioned into the military forces, and, you know, finding life afterwards. Some people find it difficult than others, especially after seeing action on the ground. But to be able to carry that kind of history with you and still move forward to become a rugby player, to starting up Seattle Compassion, you know, that takes a lot of guts, a lot of, you know, and a lot of drive to be able to move forward past, you know, a chapter in life that a lot of people sadly say don't survive. So so tell us about that transition out, and, you know, what kind of obstacles you had to overcome to be able to be the person you are now, despite that chapter, or including that chapter, not despite, sorry.
Well, so I was in for 9 3/4 years, and 2017, I went to Iraq.
Oh, wow.
I worked with the Special Forces unit at their headquarters, and it was a life-changing experience because up to that point, I was a cyberspace officer, so a computer guy.
Okay.
You know, in the most basic form, I was doing IT. You know, IT planning and programming, and then they put in the Special Forces unit where they don't tell you what you're doing. They give you shots for all over the world because they can't tell you what location you're deploying to. And I got out there and I was the strike chief of operations. So we're watching every high profile strike going on in the Middle East, specifically Syria. And, you know, we're striking people with drones. We're going in with helicopter teams. We're just coordinating the whole
operation.
Just in this massive trailer with videos across the screen. And it was the hardest job I've ever had to do because we're working 12, 14 hours a day, 6 months straight, no day off. And it was wild. So sitting there doing that job, and then I just heard an announcement that professional rugby is starting in America. And it had always been my dream. And I'm sitting there like, do I want to keep going to war? And like, I had 10 more years to retire in the military. And I was getting to that 10-year point. And I think, you know, this might apply to most people. When you start a career, at least most American jobs, you do 20, 30 years and then you retire. So I was at that halfway point, and you either have to fully commit, you know, keep working up the ladder, or you can try something new. So I decided to go for the professional rugby. I thought I had the talent to do it, and I knew I did not want to keep doing what we were doing. Mission just, I don't want to make this political, but Trump had just become president, and this new opportunity came up. Kind of reinvent myself. I was still young. I was 31.
That's not young to go into professional sports, though.
Yeah,
like,
especially
people been like training every day from like the age of 5. Yeah. So, but it's good. Like, yeah, it's crazy. You chase your dream. Most people say it's really hard to either change your job. You either change your job or you change your location. But you did both, which is like really hard, and you succeeded in a very competitive industry. So, congratulations.
Yeah, and a lot of military people struggle transitioning because we're all used to having a rank. Like when you're in the job, it's like, oh yeah, I'm a captain, so I get treated a certain way by the people below me and the people above me. If you're a sergeant, same thing. You know where you stand. You go to the civilian world, someone may get paid more than you, but you don't know their salary. You don't know if they're your boss. So it's just different to know who you are outside the military, because we literally walk around with our name and rank, and we know each other by our like social numbers. So it's a different world, and the transition was tough in the beginning, but I'm starting to figure out what you guys are all about in the real.
No, it's true. It's no easy task to do, and you know, I even though you didn't fight for us, I'm sure there's a lot of people that thank you for your service and thank you for what you've done for the nation, and you know, for you to be able to step out of that role and try to do something more. You know, that's kudos to you for doing it, and you know, congratulations on getting out alive and getting out, you know, without losing too much of yourself to the war.
Did you ever imagine when you were leaving, when you were thinking, okay, I want to be a rugby player, that you would then win back-to-back championships? Were you still like, oh, I want to win a championship? Were you just like, I just want to be a rugby player professionally, that's my dream? Or was it like, I want to be the best, I want to be a champ, I want to, yeah.
I wanted to win one. I wanted to win. I didn't know how long. Like I was 31, so I didn't know if I was just gonna do 2 years. And I wanted to win a championship. That was the only reason why I got out. Because you could just train, but if you're not trying to be the best or define yourself in what you're doing, I wouldn't have gone for it. So we didn't know what kind of team we were going to have, but at least you know what you can do, what you bring, control. And I was like, we're going to win the first championship. And then we did. And you're like, well, I guess we just keep this energy going, because when you do win, it's an addicting feeling.
Yeah. Definitely.
So rugby isn't big in America, but we won that championship, and the mayor took us to City Hall. We raised the Seawolves flag. They had a parade for us. People came together, and that was when we won. Was the first time people really heard about us.
Yeah.
So the second season, there was a lot of hype. People wanted to be a part of it, and then we did it again. So you can just imagine it was kind of exponential increase. And Seattle isn't that big of a city. It's probably more like Manchester than like London. And so it meant a lot to the city to have a winning sports team.
Well, you guys say that, but also you had Seahawks, recently hit the Super Bowl and make a name for Seattle too, man. So
yeah, that's true.
You guys,
Supersonics.
That was a little while ago.
The Supersonics used to be in Vancouver before I went to Seattle. So it used to be a Canadian team. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. This is why I'm here, to drop facts and stats.
Knowledge. So to finish off, I know that, so in America, there's a big homeless problem, but in the top countries, in the top areas, is San Jose, San Diego, and then Seattle is third. Well, that was last year. So would you call it a charity or an organization, Seattle Compassion Services? Can you tell us a bit about what they do? I mean, they give homeless people work, and how does it really work? And how did you get involved?
Yeah, Seattle Compassion, homelessness is really big in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. So we are the third worst. I got into it. It's a long story, but my sister was homeless in LA. She really went through a tough time in college, and she was out there by herself. She dropped out of school, started getting into the party, like model LA life, and doing drugs. She had a tough time. And so that was one of the hardest years of my life, watching her go through that. And I was really at a loss of what to do. I didn't know how to understand homeless or even mental health. Never really knew anything about it. And after she recovered, she moved up here about a year ago or 2 years ago, and we decided to create Seattle Compassion Services together. So we're the co-founders of the organization.
Nice.
And what our mission is to end the state of emergency of homelessness here in Seattle. And so our mission statement is to house or move 2,000 King County homeless into housing by the end of 2026. Get the number below 10,000 on the street, then the state of emergency is over. So right now we're at 12,000.
Honestly, that's pretty big, because for those that don't know, that the number of people that are homeless in Seattle, it seems as if it's, according to sources online, the number of homeless in Seattle is closer to 20,000, and the fact that you're hitting numbers that are like 2,000 homeless, you want to house 2,000 of them, that's like 10% of the homeless in Seattle, and that's a very sizable chunk, to be able to hit those kind of numbers. And if you have another like 9 organizations like you that are able to achieve those goals, then you guys are making significant change. And it's it doesn't take that much. It takes the effort and takes people and the compassion to get it started, but to be able to have people like you do it, I'm pretty sure you'll see that ripple effect change in Seattle, and see the demographic change, where I know that majority of homeless in the US, it's like 40% are African American, 31% are white, and Hispanics are 12%. So, you know, to be able to even look at those people that aren't able to receive those kind of services, you already know that it's people of color that suffer the most, and you know, to be able to help them, you know, that definitely tugs at heartstrings for me, and possibly with others too. Like, what do you think, T?
I think it's it's amazing because we always hear about the bad news, never hear about the good news. But I know, like in the UK, homeless rates are increasing, like really slowly, but they're steadily going up. Is it increasing in Seattle as well? And I think, especially in the time of COVID, what you're doing is even more honorable because these people are the most vulnerable and people who could be in contact with COVID. So, how do you feel about being an athlete and being worried about, do you having COVID testing, I'm assuming, quite regularly because or when your season starts? So like, it's just, it's quite a selfless act to do. Do you feel like COVID's made it a lot worse or created new problems, or it hasn't really affected the homeless community as much as you would think?
Yeah. Well, so we're getting about 242 new homeless people on the streets every year. That's kind of growth that we're seeing. And with COVID-19 happening, you know, we did the social distancing, you know, like we now serve food outside, we wear masks. You, just from my perspective, I don't know what the numbers are, but it doesn't seem like the homeless are disproportionately affected by it. I haven't seen a lot of people getting it. I don't know a lot of people that have gotten COVID, period. We will start getting it in the season. I don't know if they want to do a bubble for us too. We haven't quite got there yet. But once we're in the season, we'll all be testing. But so far, there hasn't been any scares, you know, and we practice what the CDC tells us to do. That's our health organization here in America. You know, we do what we can. And it gives you a lot of hope because you see in their face now, like the homeless people, we were actually doing this before COVID-19. Now they're much more grateful and thankful. They know that not many people have their back right now and don't even want to be around them.
Yeah.
So you just see how much more that it means to them. And it's great because when I was doing it before, it felt like they were expecting me to be there. Now it's like, wow, this person, professional athlete even, really cares about us and it's creating an organization for us. So it's quite special now.
Yeah, going above and beyond, you know, what people expect of you and you as an athlete too. That's, you know, it really talks about the kind of character you are, and you know, it also makes you a role model to a lot of people, right? So to show those kind of traits are definitely role model-esque qualities you're showing. So kudos for you to do that, and you know, we implore you to keep going, and hopefully you will be hitting your goals soon. And I don't know about T, but I think Different Roots would probably make some sort of donation toward your organization.
Definitely.
So that way we can help you get to your goal faster and much easier.
I see you've only got 15 days left on this current campaign. Are you going to start a new campaign, or how does that work?
You know, we're going to ramp up our marketing. That I think that we can do it in the 15 days that we have left. We're at the halfway point and we're probably at like 3 or 4%. But we've really been so my whole build up to this, we wrote the business plan, which was the hardest things I've ever done. It took me 3-4 months because you're like, what is the real problem here and what are we trying to solve? And then we had to create the fundraising platform with the video and I'll, you know, there was one question you asked me about what would I say to young entrepreneurs. A lot of people will say that you can't do it. Like people said that I couldn't go play professional rugby at 31. Like why would I give up the money that I was making? You shouldn't try that, but I did. And with Seattle Compassion, you know, I never started a business before. I was a computer guy, now a rugby player. And it almost feels like an overwhelming problem. But did the research online, asked a friend, like, hey, can I see your business plan? And it took me much longer than it should have. And I felt insecure the whole time. But once you like get that first draft out and you send it to a friend to look at it and it's a good product, it's a great feeling, you know? And so I'll tell young entrepreneurs that people will tell you can't do something, or they may feel like they can't do it. And so they can't believe that you could. So everything that we've created, you know, that fundraising platform and research. And now the next thing is, how do I network? How do I market? How do I tap into my LinkedIn community, Facebook community? Who are my real friends, and how do I like build this up? So, you know, it's just one day at a time, and I have faith that this thing will take off. And if we do have to extend it, we will. But my mind is, we got 15 days left. And I'm grateful that I'm on your podcast. I want to keep, this is the kind of stuff I want to do during these 30 days. To generate more.
Raise awareness. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Eric. That was, it was amazing. Thanks for the words of motivation.
It really was. It really was. And like, I don't know about you, but like, I definitely feel like I need to go out there and try to make more change out there in the world. It's not just live for myself. It's, you know, thinking about the others that aren't as fortunate as us. So I think, I'm honored. I feel touched and I feel inspired. And hopefully a lot of our listeners also feel inspired to go out and do something for those who aren't as fortunate as themselves.
And you know, I want to say one last thing. You know, the guy who played Black Panther.
Yes.
Chadwick Boseman.
Chadman, yeah. He died, and even though he was a fictional character, he was our king. He was like kind of the only African king that represented like all African people on the planet.
Yeah.
And you see that ritual scene in the movie where Eric Killmonger kind of takes over the throne, and he has to go through that king ceremony.
Yes.
Where they bury you alive, and then you go see your elders.
Yeah.
Astral plane. Yes. Ancestral plane.
Ancestral plane, yeah.
And you know, like, so the king is dead, and I really feel like it's up to all the young Black men, you know, that are upper 20s, lower 30s, 40s. Like, we got to find our own inner king now.
Wow.
That's what life is. It's always like this renewal. Someone will die, and then it'll be up to us to challenge who's supposed to be that next king. And really, it's going to take all of us to lead the people. And the Black community is very fractured, so we need kings
and queens.
Yeah, and queens. Yes.
True.
I felt motivated before. I feel double motivated now.
Because he just called you a king. you gotta wear your crown and, you know, do something with it.
Live up
that's what it is.
Nations. Yeah.
And you know, you're either a prince or a king. We all have that energy within us.
You know, let's do something with it. Let's, you know, look at our kingdom, and everything the light touches, let us try to make it.
I love that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Eric, for coming in. We appreciate you. And, you know, we will definitely make sure to spread the word as to what you guys are doing. And, you know, and we're very happy to have you come in. And we'll probably touch up with you again down the road when you've found other passions and other avenues you want to grow post your rugby career. But you got to get us at least one more championship before you do that.
We need that. I'm going to the bookies now. I'm going to put down a couple thousand on a three-peat. So look, when we win this, we'll donate half of it to the Seattle, and then the rest of it we'll buy some King stuff. But yeah, don't worry, man. We're Gonna make it happen. 3P. Good luck. And what's the handle or the at for your charity? The social media.
Yeah. You can go onto our website at www.seattlecompassion.com, and we have our fundraiser linked on there. You just hit the donate button. Or you can just like go on our Facebook page, Seattle Compassion, and just share what we're doing. We would love that. Or you can just volunteer at your local homeless shelter or food place. We need this everywhere, you know, in Manchester, London, and New York, and in Seattle. So you can help us directly or help your community. And I would love that even more.
Great.
Nice.
Thanks so much, Eric, for your time. Have a great weekend. And good luck in the new season and with the fundraising. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, see you, Eric.
Peace.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our talks. And we will talk to you next week. One love.
Peace.